Hello, and welcome to Feed Your Brain. I am your host, Andrea Paratto. Our lives are filled with experiences, both good and bad. We often go out of our way to create great experiences for ourselves and our loved ones. But if we are someone living with Alzheimer's disease, we must rely on others to create those great experiences for us. I am joined today by Jean Makesh, CEO of the Lantern Group. Hi, Jean. How are you today?
Hi, Andrea. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to talk a little bit about great experiences. How significant do you think it is for an individual with dementia to have great experiences in their day-to-day lives?
I think it's very important, even for someone like you and I that do not have the disease. It's very important for us to have a great experience. We as humans, we love a good experience. We enjoy a good experience. However, we're always looking for a greater experience. It's very important. The reason I say that is when you are planning on having a great experience, or when you're trying to create an opportunity for a great experience, what one tend to do is you try not to impose who you are in that moment. So let's say that you have myself and you, for example. Let's do that. And it's very important for me when I'm with you, engaging with you, it's very important for you to have a great experience with me so that you can bond with me. You can relate to me. And it's important for me to have a great experience, just not a good experience, a great experience. So let's say, I'm the CEO of an organization, and you are a nurse, let's say. During my engagement interaction that I have with you, it's important for me to realize that you are very important in this organization as a nurse. And at any point, I should not be walking around imposing who I am to you, to remind you, hey, I'm the CEO, and this is what you need to do. So there's a certain there's an expectation that I have from you, and this is how you're expected to behave. And the thing is, if I start doing that, if I start imposing that, if I start requiring that and expecting that, sometimes what happens is I deprive myself, of really understanding who Andrea is.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, Andrea is working in a framework that I've imposed you to follow. Okay. And same thing, similarly, you too. Rather, I see you as a human. I see where you are. And I meet you where you are, not try to bring you where I am. And when you look at a relationship, let's talk a little bit about relationships. Let's say that, I meet someone, and I like that person, and I want to continue to have the relationship with that person. Typically, and I can talk about myself in my own life, during when I was dating my wife, I did not pay attention to a lot of things that she did that I knew at some point is something that it may not match up with my expectations or what I'm looking for. Okay. So every single time I met her, I always try to create an opportunity or a situation where she has the best experience in her life.
Okay.
Right. And similarly, I have a feeling that she did the same thing, that she had the best experience, that I had the best experience when I was with her. Now, as we get to know each other, and a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, so I don't take the time to create the same experience. I don't know. I don't want to talk about my wife. Maybe she does. I don't know. But as we mature in relationships, we tend to start imposing our role.
Okay.
I'm the husband, I'm the father, you're the wife. When we tie roles to an individual, and then we start expecting.
Okay.
See, when you start living life with an expectation, and when you start imposing your expectations, and when you start, impressing on your role, and you start impressing on the role of other, that's when I feel that you will start the great expectation or the great experience kind of slowly, goes away.
Okay. So as a caregiver, do you think it's important to have knowledge related to what constitutes a great experience? And do you think it's crucial for engaging with individuals with Alzheimer's disease?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I always say that it's very important for us to um, put ourselves, imagine ourselves. Like for example, I'm going to take you through a story.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a life experience that I created and I visualized.
Okay.
So let's say that I'm 90 years old.
Okay.
Okay. And I have Alzheimer's disease. What it means is I don't remember
Okay.
a lot of things. I still can remember things from my past when I was 5 years old or more, maybe when I was 10 years old. And let's say that I'm in an assisted living facility or in a nursing home, in a care facility, in a care community.
Okay.
So I get up in the morning, I'm cheerful, I'm happy. And a young, beautiful woman walks into my room, and she introduces herself, and she says she's from activities. And she said, Mr. Makesh, I've got this fantastic activity plan. I want you to come. Well, the thing is, I'm not sure if I really want to go. And then she says, well, it's going to be fun and exciting for you. And I'm still like, okay, what is fun and exciting for me? I'm trying to figure that out. And then she goes like, well, we're going to do some painting. I'm not really fond of painting. You know what? I don't want to disappoint her. I'm going to just go. Okay. Because I like her. She's very nice. She's very kind to me. And she's sweet to me. I'm just going to go. So I go and, engage, participate, and I come back she brings me back to my room. An hour later, she comes back again and says, hey, we've got this dance lessons. I heard, Jean, you used to be a good dancer. Why don't you come over? And why don't you come? Let's say it's a dance class. We have a dance instructor teaching a new steps, and you'll get a chance to dance. And see, to me at that time, when she said, I used to be a good dancer, that there's a good chance I may actually catch that phrase or hang on to that word. Used to be. What did she mean by used to be? I have challenges. I have memory issues. I'm living in my own world. I have my own thoughts. My frame of mind is a little different than everyone around me. And she said, I used to be a dancer. I'm like, okay, maybe she knows something that I don't know. Or I would go like, what did she mean by that? So I said, okay, I'll go. And then I go and, she turns the music on, and I dance. I enjoy dancing because dancing is actually, it's a very emotional experience. And if I was very good in dancing, and if I really enjoyed a certain type of music, that experience, that memory doesn't, that's the last one to go. That usually hangs around. So as soon as the music and that emotional part of the brain, triggers, my muscle memory kicks in. And when if I was a dancer, like the way she suggested, I'm going to dance. The music and the rhythm, everything is going to kick in, and I'm going to dance. So now I am living in the moment. I can relate to the dance part. Then I come back. She brings me back to my room. I'm there in the room. Then later on, it's time for lunch. She asked me to come down to the dining room. And in the dining room, let's say that there's a TV, and the TV is on. And I'm watching the TV, and all of a sudden I see flooding. And the newscaster talking about, so many are missing, so and so many are dead, and that's all negative news. Then I look at it and I'm trying to process that information. All I know is that that something I'm witnessing is true, and it could be happening right where I am, or it could be happening somewhere else. But it really depends on the stages of the disease that I'm in, and the disease process where I'm with the disease. And what I see on TV, I could actually perceive as a reality, an immediate reality where I am in, where I could be in, or something is going to happen, and the flooding is happening, a block or 2 blocks down the road, and it's going to happen where I am, and that I'm gonna get anxious and panic, but I'm not saying anything. I'm very quietly having my lunch. I come back to my room, and I'm processing everything that I saw, and in bits and pieces. See, you and I, when we see something, we're able to process it in a very sequential manner. Someone with Alzheimer's disease, may not be able to do that. So I'm sitting in the room, sitting in my room. I don't have anyone to talk to, engage. My brain is firing with the very limited amount of neurons that I have. I'm processing that information that I saw on TV. Now I'm anxious. I'm panicking. I'm afraid. I'm not able to get the right words out. And so essentially what I do is if I have the ability to press the call button, I press the call button, or I'm actually asking for help. I'm seeking help. So now I'm screaming. Now I'm asking for help. And if I'm not, it may not even be 5 seconds, but in my mind, it could be an hour or 5 hours that no one responded. Now I'm screaming. Now screaming becomes yelling. So you see that I go through these various emotions, and then let's say that the caregiver, the nurse came. There's a very good chance they came down. They heard my screaming and yelling, and they started making the way through to my unit. I don't know all of that stuff, and I'm anxious. I'm panicking. I'm afraid. I'm fearful. And then all of us, and they come in. They ask Mr. Makesh, what is going on? I don't know what to say. I'm not able to articulate. So now I'm started using my hands, or I'm started using, expressing through gestures. And then let's say that the nurse or the caregiver happens to hold my hand or touch my hand. I may react to that behavior. So when I react to the behavior, now all of a sudden I'm anxious, I'm panicking. Now I see someone holding me without my permission. They've invaded my space. There's a very good chance I may, take a swing at them or push them away. So when I push them away, of course, they think that I have some behavior issues, and they try to calm me down. They try everything that they can, and they don't know what I'm processing because I cannot articulate. I could be babbling. I could be saying things that may not be making sense. Then, the situation starts escalating. It gets, worse and worse, and they're not able to control me, I shouldn't use the word control, manage me or calm me down. Then they call the physician, and let's say it's about the time went by, it's about 45 minutes, an hour. They contact my doctor, and they get an order for medication, a PRN medication to calm me down. Then they give me the medication. It helps me. I'm calmer than I was. It's now about 6 p.m., 6:30, and all of a sudden, I see a beautiful young woman with two adult children, and she says, hi honey, how are you? And I go like, why is she calling me honey? Who is she? And she could be my wife with my children visiting me, and I don't know who she is. And then when the nurses learned that my family was visiting me, they would give her a detailed description of the experience that I had and they had that given day. And so essentially, he was good. He was doing very well. He was dancing, and all of a sudden he had this issue, and we had to get some psychotropic drugs in to calm him down. And now the drug is working the way it should. I'm not in a position to engage with my wife or my children. I don't know who she is. I'm trying to figure things out. She's not able to have a good experience with me. So a lot of little things that happens around me could potentially influence and impact my expression. And that's why it's so important for caregivers and or family members that are caring for a senior or an individual with Alzheimer's disease to really understand why one behaves a certain way. And the great experience is so important that if the caregivers or the nurses took time to understand what happened, what triggered me, trying to figure out why I did what I did, I may not have, I wouldn't have needed a psychotropic drug. Number one. Number two, there's a good chance that I could have actually had a better engagement with my wife and my children. So a lot of things happens because of the experience that we have on a daily basis. So that's why I feel that having that great experience, having that, to me, good experience is okay. I think we as humans, we crave for a great experience. We need that great experience. Like, for example, you go on a cruise ship, for the first time you're on a cruise ship, and all the activities and the food and all the entertainment, you go like, whoa, amazing. I mean, this is like, I'm like in a floating palace. I'm being served. And a year later, you go on another cruise ship, which is, a little bit, I guess, a better ship and have better amenities. And we go on that. And once we experience that, we go like, wow, we would say, well, this ship was much better than the one that I did a year ago. Even though a year ago, what I had was a great experience. Now, a better experience actually have kind of made that great experience a year ago a little bit lower on the experience scale. So it's important for us to have that great experience, between a father and a child, a mother and a child, brother and sister, husband and wife. I think in my opinion, I think the reason sometimes there's a breakdown in relationship is when we are not able to experience that great experience consistently in our lives.
Well, thank you very much. That was a lot of emotions that we just went through, but it was good to know that in the end, you can find a great experience with somebody when you're caring for somebody with Alzheimer's disease.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you, Andrea.